It's February 8th. I was gonna write about this, but I just didn't feel like it because I'm feeling horrible. The blood clot in my leg has reached my brain. I can no longer see on this side of my face. This is what's causing my eyes to twitch and move uncontrollably, and it's causing me my paralysis in my hands. The blood clot that I've been talking about went from my leg to my brain. The FBI is not giving me any medical treatment for this or my failing kidneys. As you can see this, I am now cross-eyed now. My vision is extremely blurry. I'm still not getting any medical treatment. Now, I'm going to make this a brief video because I'm not going to talk too long. And I love my brother, Dewayne Bulls. He is my twin brother. He is all I got out here besides him and my daughters. But since the first day my brother came home, he thinks that I was working for the FBI to frame him. And I'm not making this video to embarrass my brother because I love him. My brother has been going through this longer than I have. This blood clot has made me cross-eyed now. I just want y'all to notice that. But since he came home, my brother had in the back of his head that I was somehow working for the FBI to help frame him and discredit his civil rights claim of what they did to him in 2013 and 2014 when Eric Holder opened an investigation about what happened to him in a state prison by the FBI, who tortured him in there, and they tortured him in there when he had him locked up again. Now, the whole time my brother was incarcerated, he was writing to me, telling me what the FBI was doing to him. And it just sounded too hard to believe because my brother was never in the streets like that. So I was thinking rationally, like, what would the FBI want with you? And before he came home, the mother of my kids, Samantha Levitsky, the woman who gave birth to me, Rena Dewayne Bulls, they were all telling me don't let my brother move in with me. Because they knew what was going to happen when when Eric Holder opened their civil rights investigation. Because the FBI got to them early. Why do y'all think the mother of my daughters, and I really don't say too much negative to her because I know my daughters how much they love her, but she didn't do me no favors. Before I put my YouTube videos, she was telling everybody I went crazy too. Meanwhile, I stood up and fought and probably going to lose my life about our daughters. She is not under the Patriot Act. She could have got an attorney anytime she felt like it. Especially when I had the device at that time, back in 2015, and sued the FBI herself. But she didn't do it, and I believe that was to protect her boyfriend, her now husband. But y'all can ask her why she never sued the FBI. She would say the FBI's talking points, I didn't know what none of that stuff is. She could have easily got a lawyer and had him look at it. But they were all telling me not to let my brother move in my house. I said, no, I'm not leaving my brother out in the street. I got a big house over here. Why wouldn't I let him move in? Not knowing that the Department of Justice Civil Rights Organization opened up an investigation by the FBI. And what he was telling me, that I always listen to my brother because that's my twin brother. But it was just too hard to believe that the FBI was really torturing him like this. Until one day when I figured out my entire residence was bugged. Just so the FBI can set up a trap for him and me so they can get him indicted as a major heroin trafficker. And the FBI had relatives come to me trying to trap me, my cousins, with major heroin proposals. I declined every time. Not even knowing that the FBI was trying to entrap me and set up their uh their set up their operation to get me and my brother indicted, and use that excuse that why they kept on putting undercover federal agents in my brother's cell like we was major heroin traffickers. And then when I found out all that stuff in my residence, the FBI put the Patriot Act on me too. I couldn't sue him. So my brother had him locked up for 5 years. Had me charged with a crime I didn't commit. Had me in mental health institutions. Said I imagined all that. Then when my brother came home, the woman who gave birth to us didn't tell him I was living in the park for over a month. Her or my Uncle James Bulls. Then when she did tell him I was living in the park, she lied on him, talk about I charged at her. And I threatened her. Matter of fact, the FBI had the whole park mic'd and wired. And if I charged at her and threatened her, her and her husband would have put me in Western Psych. Then lied to him, talk about a girl we grew up with named Tara was bringing me food every day. Nobody never bought me a damn thing while I was living in the park. The woman who gave birth to me, Tara, or my uncle, James Bulls, who only lives minutes from the park, who has a huge house. I told him when he first came home, Wayne, you cannot interact with anybody because this is a murder and frame operation. The FBI will stop at anything and everything to make sure we are framed and murdered. Even if they wasn't involved in this murder and frame operation, the FBI will make them involved with it. They'll stop at nothing. So it's better to keep to yourself. My brother didn't listen to me. He's hanging out with a guy we grew up with named Eugene Jones. Eugene Bowie Jones. I told him, I said, there is no coincidences with dealing with the FBI. The FBI put him in a place where you can interact with him because either the FBI got him a get out of jail for free card or they gave him some type of job or something incentive to make him part of this murder and frame operation. And I said, but I told Wayne, by some small chance, if he's not involved in this murder and frame operation, the FBI will make him. So you're going to be a threat to him, but I'm telling you, there's no way that you just ran into him by happenstance. We are living in the FBI's controlled bubble. My brother didn't believe me. He kept interacting, calling Eugene Jones, and I'm pretty sure every phone call, Eugene Jones was saying FBI frame codes. This is why the FBI doesn't put people around me I know, or have people call me anymore, because they know I am fully aware of their murder and frame operation, and I would never even interact with these people. And I would tell these people immediately, look, by some small chance the FBI doesn't have you involved in this murder and frame operation, they will. So I'm just going to stay away from you. And I'm not going to talk to you. Just please pray for me. That's what I would say to these people. But that doesn't happen. I haven't been around or talked to anybody I grew up with since 2018. And these were the only friends I had. 2018. The FBI got my brother a job in this cricket place in McKees Rocks because I used to go there. That was my phone service. I told him, Wayne, the FBI, they wouldn't even let you bag groceries. Now they let you get a job in the cricket store. I said, the FBI is going to use that building as their whole front of their murder and frame operation. They're going to say a bunch of FBI frame codes to you. My brother's so naive and gullible, he don't even want to believe everything I'm telling him. I said, Wayne, you don't have to do anything. All you got to do, and people do, is say the FBI's numbers around you, do some type of reverse signaling with their hands, and wear the FBI's frame colors. That's it. You don't have to break the law. My brother is so caught up because he goes to work every day and makes an honest living that he can't be murdered and framed by the FBI. I am living in squalor. I got a blood clot in my brain and in my leg. My kidneys are failing. My heart is enlarged. I'm an uncontrolled diabetic. I'm basically blind on one side of my face. There's nothing but blur on the side of my face. And I'm still being murdered and framed. I'm sleeping with bed bugs and roaches every day. And my brother really thinks I am now cross at it. because there's blood clot in my brain. And my brother really thinks because he makes an honest living every day and he's not breaking the law that he can't be murdered and framed by the FBI. So now, family, he goes over Eugene Jones, the FBI's rat and informant. And if I see this to him, I would tell him to his face because I'm being murdered and framed and I don't pull punches with anybody. This is why the FBI had their rat, Robert Grizz Lewis, throw a brick at my head. He missed. And like the coward, when I came down, after he missed me, hit me with the brick, hit me with my shoulder. I came down off the porch, punched him in his face, and he ran like the fucking coward he is. But I'm pretty sure he went back to McKees Rocks, told everybody he beat me up. And I just pressed charges on him for no reason. No, I pressed charges on him because he threw a brick through my window, and I couldn't afford it. He didn't want to fight like a man. He ran like the fucking girl and the coward he is. But every time he was talking to me, he was talking about murdering somebody. Anybody from McKees Rocks knows Robert Grizz Lewis. No, he wouldn't bust a grape. But back to Eugene Jones. My brother tells me he goes over there on Saturday. Eugene Jones tells him to go around back. Then he's running back and forth to a white Cadillac, wearing black and red, FBI frame colors, looking like a bum, talking about, let's go to dinner. My brother finally sees what I'm talking about. That Eugene Jones has been working for the FBI the whole time. Eugene Bowie Jones. A person who we grew up with is helping murder and frame me and my brother. I talked to my brother today. I sent him the videos about my eyes twitching and everything. And I got a blood clot in my head. I thought it was my neck injury. Then I started researching what can cause this. A stroke. Obviously, I had a stroke. I might still got this blood clot in my head. I'm still functional, but I'm severely weak. I'm having paralysis in my hands. And like I said, this side of my face, right here, it's extremely blurry. And somehow my brother thinks what's happened to me is not connected to him. Since we first started talking to him, remember, they didn't tell my brother I was living in the park till a month he didn't come home. So when he first came out, I didn't talk to him for a month. I didn't even know he was released from jail. I've been telling him, I said, Wayne. He's Wayne and I'm Juan. Very rarely do people call us Dewan and Dewayne who know us. And I told him, Wayne, do not say any numbers on the phone. No matter what context you use them in, the FBI will dress them up as a drug deal. The FBI has done the same tactics to me at these hospitals I go to. This is why I very rarely say numbers anymore, unless I'm talking about my daughter's age when the FBI put cameras in their TVs and watched them relieve themselves showering babes in my house. They were 9 and 7. I keep saying that because I'm passionate about that, and I'm losing my life about them and my brother. He's telling me my reality is not his reality. And as long as he goes to work every day and makes an honest living, he can't be framed by the FBI. He really thinks the FBI is after indictments. This whole murder and frame operation is flimsy and weak. This is not about indictments. This is about putting us in a casket and framing us by somehow this makes it to a civil judge to get this case dismissed. Just by having all strangers. Everybody who's around me every day is a total stranger. At the hospitals I go to, the people who drive around me in FBI's frame color vehicles, the people in this building, all strangers. But they all sound like me. They all say the same words and phrases me and my brother use, and they repeat the FBI's numbers over and over again. Matter of fact, they don't even talk to me anymore. Nobody knocks on my door. Nobody asks me how's I'm doing. How's my health? Because they don't give a flying fuck about me. They're just here to do an objective, and that's to help the FBI murder and frame me and put me in a casket. My brother still is so fucking naive and gullible, he doesn't believe this. Then somehow he's telling me that I'm working for the FBI against him, like something that everything that's happened to me is just a facade to get him to try to incriminate himself And my brother hasn't broke the law since he been arrested since 2012. I don't blame my brother for any of this because I know what type of number the FBI did to him. Me and my brother are two different people. My brother is strong and there's nothing weak about him. But I've always been the strongest. I've always carried the load for both of us. My brother is a hero to me. Because if he wouldn't have came home and told me all the FBI, even though, like I said, what he was telling me was just so out there because my brother was never in the streets like that. I always paid attention to my brother. And when I found out, it didn't take long for me to figure out everything he was telling me was true. I told my brother he saved my life because the FBI was trying to set a trap to get us both indicted. Even if my brother came home from jail, said he's looking for a job, he's never doing anything again. But just because he lived with me and I was associating with all the FBI's undercover federal agents and informants, the FBI would have made him involved in this conspiracy too. Wayne, I want you to know when you watch this, I lost my life about you, James, and Claire. I was never against you. I was always with you. And I told you I was the only one that was going to stand with you. It's just when the FBI put those cameras, and I found those cameras, well, me and you found the first camera in the bathroom. But when I found the cameras in my daughter's TV and everything, the shift moved from you and moved to my daughters. Even though it was all about you in the beginning, because the FBI would have never bugged my house if they didn't have that civil rights investigation against them. I always stood with you. I wish you would have just listened to me when I told you do not associate with anybody from McKees Rocks or anybody you know. The FBI did not try to frame you. They already did, Wayne. Just by having you in the vicinity of Eugene Bowie Jones' actions. Him running back and forth to a white Cadillac. The FBI has me picked up in white cars all the time. They already framed you, Wayne. They already framed you. I love you, and I hope when you see this, I'm not laying in a casket. I was always with you. I was never against you. I just wish you would fucking listen to me and listen to what I'm telling you. But I think it's too late now.